My life with Mark was a picture of quiet contentment, a carefully constructed tapestry of shared dreams and comforting routines. We met in college, fell in love in that breathless, youthful way, building a foundation on mutual respect and genuine affection. We built a home together, a sanctuary filled with books and laughter and the aroma of home-cooked meals. He was my rock, my anchor, my safe harbor, in a world that often felt chaotic and unpredictable. Our mornings were filled with the familiar scent of his coffee brewing and the gentle clinking of mugs, our evenings with comfortable silences, punctuated by the low hum of a television show or the turning pages of a novel. It was a good life, a stable life, a life many of our friends and family members often remarked upon with admiration. I believed deeply in my heart that I was happy, truly happy, within the embrace of our shared existence. There was a sense of belonging, a profound peace that came from knowing I was loved completely and unconditionally. But beneath the surface, a subtle erosion had begun its work. The initial passion that once burned so fiercely had gradually settled into a gentle warmth, a comfortable ember, rather than a roaring fire. The spontaneous laughter and wild adventures of our early days had been replaced by predictable patterns and knowing smiles. The exciting unknowns of youth had given way to the comforting but sometimes stifling rhythms of adulthood. I told myself repeatedly that this was normal, this was maturity, this was the natural evolution of enduring love. Yet a tiny whisper of discontent began to stir within me, a persistent longing for something I could not quite name. Something vibrant, something new, something that promised to awaken a dormant part of my soul. It was a hunger for novelty, for excitement, for a feeling of being truly seen and desired beyond the comfortable familiarity of our shared history. Then Daniel arrived at the office, a new hire in a neighboring department. He was a whirlwind of energy, a stark and immediate contrast to the subdued and predictable atmosphere I had grown accustomed to. His laughter was loud and infectious, his ideas bold and refreshingly unconventional. He looked at me not with the familiar, affectionate, and slightly possessive gaze of Mark, but with an intense, curious, and somewhat challenging stare that made me feel entirely re-evaluated, seen in a way I had forgotten was even possible. He paid rapt attention to my opinions, my jokes, my very presence in a room. His compliments were genuine, his questions insightful. It started innocently enough lunch breaks that stretched a little longer than strictly necessary. Shared jokes whispered across cubicles, late-night emails about project details that subtly but surely began to veer into personal conversations about dreams and fears and aspirations. The attention was intoxicating, a potent elixir that fueled a forgotten part of my spirit. Daniel made me feel witty, intelligent, desirable things I had stopped actively seeking or feeling in my settled life with Mark. My heart would beat a little faster when I saw him in the hallway. My thoughts drifted to him during mundane meetings about budgets and deadlines. I rationalized it as harmless flirtation, a much-needed boost to my self-esteem. Nothing more, nothing less. I told myself it was just friendship, a professional connection, a safe and innocent way to inject a little much-needed excitement into my otherwise predictable workdays. I convinced myself that my loyalty to Mark remained unwavering despite the flutter in my chest. The line blurred slowly, imperceptibly at first. The work emails eventually turned into casual texts after hours. The professional questions about reports and presentations seamlessly transitioned into casual inquiries about my weekend plans, my day, my mood. His messages were always there, a constant stream of validation, a gentle but persistent reminder that someone outside my carefully curated world found me interesting, compelling, worthy of their time and undivided thoughts. I started hiding my phone from Mark, a new habit that felt alien and profoundly wrong, but one I quickly adopted with surprising ease. The guilt was a dull ache, a constant, unwelcome companion, but it was consistently overshadowed by the thrill, the novelty, the exhilarating feeling of being alive in a way I had not been for what felt like countless years. The secrecy added another layer of excitement, a forbidden fruit quality that was hard to resist. Then came the business trip, a mandatory conference in a bustling city far from home, far from the comforting routine and watchful eyes of my life with Mark. Daniel was also assigned to attend. The air between us crackled with an undeniable, unspoken tension, a silent understanding that something was about to happen, something inevitable, something that felt both terrifying and exhilarating. We had dinner with a larger group of colleagues, but our eyes always found each other across the crowded table, communicating in a language only we understood. Later, alone at the hotel bar, the conversation flowed easily, naturally, effortlessly between us. We talked for hours about our lives, our dreams, our deepest disappointments. He listened, truly listened to every word I uttered, absorbing my fears and hopes with an attentiveness I had long missed. He saw the subtle cracks beneath my composed exterior, the yearning in my eyes that I had tried so hard to bury deep within myself. One drink led to another, then another. The alcohol dulled the sharp edges of my conscience, the moral compass that usually guided my actions and decisions. His hand found mine across the table, a gentle, tentative touch that sent unexpected shivers down my spine, a jolt of electricity. The connection was undeniable, powerful, overwhelming, impossible to ignore. We walked back to our separate rooms on the same floor, but paused instinctively at my door. The silence in the hallway was deafening, filled with unspoken desires and illicit possibilities, a palpable tension that hung heavy in the air. He leaned in close, his breath warm on my ear, his voice a low, almost imperceptible rumble. "I do not want this night to end." He whispered, his words a seductive invitation. And in that moment, consumed by a reckless abandon and a desperate craving for something new, I realized that I did not want it to end either. The next morning, I woke up in a hotel bed that was not my own, in a city that was far from my home, next to a man who was most certainly not my husband. A tumultuous wave of conflicting emotions washed over me: regret, shame, exhilarating freedom, profound confusion. The memory of Mark, his kind face, his trusting eyes, his unwavering love flashed through my mind like a searing photograph. A cold, heavy dread settled deep in my stomach, threatening to overwhelm me. What have I done to my life, to our life? What have I so carelessly thrown away for a moment of fleeting passion, a temporary escape from my own unacknowledged boredom and deep-seated complacency? The consequences felt immense, unbearable. The double life began in earnest after that fateful trip. Every single interaction with Mark was tainted by my pervasive secret. Every tender kiss felt like a profound betrayal. Every gentle touch, a carefully constructed lie. I became an actress in my own home, meticulously playing the role of the devoted wife, while my mind was constantly elsewhere, consumed by intrusive thoughts of Daniel, by the elaborate and ever-growing web of lies I was skillfully weaving. The initial thrill of the forbidden liaison slowly but surely began to fade, replaced by a constant gnawing anxiety, a pervasive fear of discovery. I was always checking my phone, always deleting incriminating messages, always fabricating believable excuses for my frequent absences and late arrivals. The joy of the affair was quickly being suffocated by the heavy burden of deceit. My escalating guilt manifested as increasing irritability, a short temper with Mark, a subtle but undeniable emotional distancing that he eventually noticed with quiet concern. He asked repeatedly if everything was all right, if I was truly happy, if there was anything he could do. I lied, of course. I told him everything was fine, just work stress, just a bit tired, just feeling a little overwhelmed. He deserved the absolute truth, a full and honest explanation. But I was too much of a coward, too deeply entangled in my own web of lies to give it to him. The chasm between us grew wider, deeper, fueled by my deceit and his growing confusion. I saw the hurt in his eyes, the profound sadness, the slow but certain dawning of suspicion. It was a pain I had inflicted myself, a wound I had deliberately opened, and it tore me apart from the inside out, leaving me feeling hollow and increasingly isolated. The inevitable came a few weeks later, a moment I had both dreaded and secretly anticipated as a release. Mark found a text message, a casual, innocent-looking one from Daniel on my phone, but in context with my recent erratic behavior, my emotional distance, and my transparent lies. It was more than enough. Enough to shatter the illusion, enough to break his trusting heart into a million irreparable pieces. The confrontation was not a screaming match, not a dramatic shouting scene filled with accusations and tears. It was quiet, devastating in its subdued intensity. His voice was calm, almost unnervingly detached, as he gently asked me to explain the message and everything that had led up to it. I could not. I simply crumbled under the weight of my own actions. The carefully constructed facade of my double life collapsed around me, leaving me exposed, vulnerable, and utterly consumed by shame and remorse. The silence in our once vibrant home after my confession was louder than any shouting match could have ever been. It was the deafening sound of a world ending, of a lifelong trust irrevocably broken. He packed a single bag that night, his movements slow, deliberate, heavy, with immeasurable grief. He did not yell, he did not curse, he did not even raise his voice. He just looked at me with an expression of profound sadness, an unbearable disappointment that cut deeper into my soul than any angry words ever could have. How could you? He simply asked, his voice barely a whisper, full of a pain I could never hope to truly comprehend or assuage. And I had no answer, no coherent explanation, no justification for the devastating choices I had made. He left. Our life, our home, our future, all of it, dissolved into thin air, leaving only an empty void. Daniel, when I tried desperately to reach him after everything came crashing down, offered only empty platitudes, and then disappeared completely from my life, a ghost in the wind. He was never genuinely interested in building a life with me. He was only interested in the chase, the fleeting thrill of the forbidden. I was left utterly alone in the wreckage of my own making, surrounded by the debris of a shattered existence. The quiet contentment and profound peace of my previous life were cruelly replaced by a deafening silence, a constant echoing void of my terrible mistakes. The emptiness was overwhelming, a physical ache in my chest. The following months were a blur of inconsolable grief and crippling regret. I lost Mark. I lost our beautiful home. I lost a fundamental part of myself, my sense of integrity, my moral compass. The person I had been, the woman who deeply valued honesty and unwavering fidelity, had been irrevocably altered, permanently marred by my reckless actions. I spent countless hours replaying every single moment, every decision, every carefully crafted lie, every single opportunity I had to stop myself. I saw with horrifying clarity the immense pain I had caused, the devastating ripple effect of my selfish choices. My misguided pursuit of a fleeting excitement, a temporary escape, had senselessly destroyed something truly beautiful, precious, and utterly irreplaceable. Years have passed since then. The scars remain a constant and painful reminder of the choices I made and the devastating consequences that inexorably followed. I have learned about the true and agonizing cost of betrayal, the profound and lasting damage it inflicts, not just on the innocent party, but perhaps even more deeply on the betrayer themselves. I understand now with painful clarity that true happiness and genuine fulfillment come from within, from cherishing and nurturing what you already have, from cultivating honest and transparent connection, not from foolishly seeking fleeting thrills outside the sacred boundaries of commitment. I still think of Mark sometimes. I wonder often if he eventually found true happiness, if he found someone new who truly deserves his boundless love and unwavering trust. I hope with every fiber of my being that he has healed from the deep wound I so carelessly inflicted upon him. As for me, I am still learning, still growing, still trying desperately to forgive myself for the irreparable harm I caused. The lesson was hard-earned, painfully clear, and etched forever into my soul. Infidelity is not an escape. It is a cruel and inescapable trap, a destructive path that leaves nothing,